Hey everyone, welcome back to Drum with Drew. I am Drew, and today I wanted to talk about the hardware that I am going to be using for this A to E conversion kit, and also a couple of marketplace finds that I'm excited about. So jumping right into it, I am using almost exclusively Gibraltar hardware. I am not being paid to say this, but I've had nothing but good experiences with the brand. I've used their racks before, their stands before. On my last build, I actually used their stealth racks, which I really liked, but it seemed like overkill for a set this size. So as a kind of scaled back option, the centerpiece of this build is this 3-post mount. The technical term for it is the Gibraltar 9713 PM 9000 series heavy duty double tom stand. So they call it a double tom stand, but it's got a single post here and then two other posts that can be rotated around that you can mount, anything that's got a down tube in it. So, like I said, that's kind of the centerpiece of this. Starting on my left, the first piece here is a X-hat stand. It is the SC-4425XHMB 10-inch X-hat auxiliary hi-hat boom arm. So quite the mouthful, but I already had this piece. As I stated in my first video, I'm going to use a single cymbal, the Simmons electronic cymbals, and I could probably have used a boom arm here as well, but like I said, I already had this on hand. For a while when I had my Armory kit, I had two hi-hats, the traditional one on the left, and then an extra hat over here on the right, so you could play, with both hands. And I had this laying around, had never sold it, so I figured I would incorporate it into this setup and use that. So moving along, the next piece here is the SC-4425B1 16-inch cymbal boom arm. It's got a long boom on it and a long down tube as well. It's got the hideaway boom, so if you don't need the boom, you can stick that inside the down tube and kind of conceal it. As you can see, I had to cut off the bottom on the bass drum here to basically get it low enough. And the boom arm itself, I've got plenty of length on it. I probably could have gone with the mini boom for the ride cymbal here, but I found both of these on eBay for under what the suggested manufacturer retail price is. So picked them up on eBay, and they were in like new condition, so no complaints there. Moving along, this is just an L-arm that I had originally bought for a metronome, and since the Roland TD17 module has a built-in metronome, I don't really need that, but I'm going to use it for my marketplace find. So this is the SC-LRAC 9.5mm L-arm and clamp. And it's got basically a little clamp that you can rotate around, and then the L-arm goes in here, and it's got quite a bit of rotation as well. So, like I said, found some things on Marketplace that I'm pretty excited about. These are the Roland PDX-8 tom pads. The seller originally had these listed at $300, and then he had reduced it to $200. And I looked them up on eBay, and they were going for anywhere from $40 to $60. So I messaged him, and we agreed upon $100, which I actually think is a pretty good deal for these. 8 inches isn't a lot of room, but for kind of an auxiliary pad, I'm going to mount right here in between the hi-hat and the tom. I think it should be kind of fun. It'll give me some sound options, if I want a clap sound or a cowbell or something. That's one of the really fun things about these electronic kits is you can program, whatever sound you want. And this is actually a dual zone pad, so I've got the sound from the head and then a sound from a rim. Program whatever sounds you want out of them, and it's a lot more flexibility than you'd have with a traditional kit. So moving along, this is just the standard tom mount that came with the Breakbeats kit. Just a generic tom mount with the ball joint here, so you've kind of got infinitely adjustable. And then it's got an open mount here that I'm using for the boom arm. Moving along, sticking with the Gibraltar name, I actually opted to use Gibraltar double pedal. It is the Gibraltar GTC6DB Tour Class double chain drive pedal, double bass drum pedal. Now, I've used everything from the DW9000 series pedals, which are top-of-the-line pro-level pedals, to Tama Iron Cobra pedals. Actually, a long time ago, I used Mapex came out with a pedal that the left one could pivot between the hi-hat and a left bass drum pedal. That was kind of an innovative idea. Wasn't the greatest pedal, but it was kind of neat. So I'll be the first to admit I am not the greatest double bass drum player. And with this kit, again, I'm kind of trying to stay within a budget. So what I really like about this pedal, though, is the beater. It came with about 2/3 of the area is hard plastic and about 1/3 is felt. With a mesh head, you do not want to use a felt beater because it will shred that felt like a cheese grater. The mesh heads just and the felt rubbing against each other is just not a good combination. So I've flipped these around and I'm using the hard plastic side. That will protect the bass drum head a lot better, and I will probably get one of those patches as well to put on the bass drum just to reduce the wear. The snare drum stand is one that I had. It is a Yamaha one that's looks like it's been dropped off the back of a pickup truck. Honestly, it's pretty beat up, but I had it laying around and figured I would use it. I will eventually upgrade to a Gibraltar snare stand. The other piece I've got here is the hi-hat pedal, a Roland FD7. Now, it is not the latest and greatest. There are newer models out for it, but I found this on eBay, and it was quite well reviewed, so I ended up going with that. We will see how much I like the pedal approach. In the past, I've used a traditional hi-hat stand and the two pads, and as I think I said in a previous video, the hi-hat is probably the one weak link in electronic drums right now. It's just having the two did not blow me away like I thought it would. I was really expecting, real feel, and it gets pretty close, but I think having the pedal and the one cymbal will probably get me close enough. So the last piece is the throne here. It is an Orange County Drum and Percussion throne. I picked it up at Guitar Center, and they were able to match a price from Musician's Friend. So got a good price on it, and it came highly recommended from the sales associate there. One last thing, I did want to shout out Derby89 commented on my previous video, and he is building what he called a Frankenstein kit of his own, and he happens to live here in Wichita as well, so I thought that was really cool. Thank you for following, liking, subscribing. Everyone watching, please do that. It really does help. And join me again. I'm getting close to putting the triggers and mesh heads on the drums, and then after I've got that done, it's time to plug everything into the Roland TD17, start playing around, dialing things in, seeing how it sounds. So stay tuned for more content.